Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1975. Be prepared to be inspired.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, inspiring automotive enthusiasts, and welcome to Cars Yeah. Today I'm in Wake Forest, North Carolina with a very special guest by the name of Chris Blanchette. Chris, welcome to Cars Yeah. Do you have any gear and are you ready to release the clutch?
I'm ready to go, Mark.
All right, we'll have some fun here. Now, before I give you a proper introduction, what's maybe one little thing that people don't know about you, Chris?
You know, it's pretty obvious on the outside that I'm a gearhead and I've been in the automotive industry for a long time, but I also grew up as a concert violinist and played for the University of Minnesota Symphony Orchestra and had the opportunity to even tour Europe with the symphony I played with.
You know, this is very interesting, Chris, because in the last month or so, I've had probably 5 or 6 people very similar answer to that question. Concert pianist, a gentleman who was going to be a concert pianist and went down the track of automotive, guitar players, drummers, violinists, I mean, all sorts of different creative people. So maybe there's a correlation between automobiles and music. I don't know what it might be. I grew up playing the guitar. So yeah, maybe there's a relationship to cars and gears, and it's all mathematics, right?
That's right. That's right. It's all ones and zeros after it's all done, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Very cool. Well, let me give you a proper introduction, and we're going to talk about what you're up to. Chris Blanchette is the Vice President, Strategic Store Operations at Advanced Auto Parts. He is also the President and Chairman at TechForce Foundation and Director of ASE Education Foundation. Chris has focused experience in new concept development and go-to-market strategies with both retail sales and service fulfillment capabilities. He has designed, developed, and deployed large-scale strategies on both growth and cost-out initiatives. He previously served as the Director of Technical Operations and Innovation for Bridgestone Tires, their retail operations, and he started his career way back some 20 years ago at Tires Plus, and he spent some time at Geek Squad at Best Buy. We're going to have some fun here today. Chris, we'll be back in just a minute, but first a word from our valued sponsors. So listeners, give them a little love, give them a little business. That's why we're here today, and we'll be right back. My friends at Covercraft offer you 10 different options. That's right, 10 for your vehicle's protection. You can choose from Weather Shield HP, HD, Sunbrella, Ultratect, Reflect, Form Fit, Custom View Shield, and their newest 5-layer all-climate cover, 3-layer moderate climate cover, and a 5-layer indoor option. You have all sorts of ways to protect your car. All of these are custom tailored by Covercraft's talented craftspeople. It's the form and fit with the quality to attention to detail that's been their standard since 1965. Surface protection is the best way to preserve the investment you've made in your vehicles. It's what I do. Covercraft protects cars, trucks, motorcycles, RVs, trailers, and watercraft too. I have a Covercraft cover for every one of my vehicles, and I've got a deal for you. If you use the code YEAH21, YEAH21 at covercraft.com, they'll give you 10% off your order, plus you get free shipping. That's right, 10% off and free shipping. Just use the code YEAH21 at checkout. Covercraft, protecting the things that move you. I was talking with a buddy of mine the other day, and he asked me about American Collectors Insurance. He said, while I listen to you on Cars Yeah, you're always talking about agreed value collector car insurance. Well, I insure all my cars on my regular auto insurance policy, and I've done it for years. Why use a different company for my collector cars? I get a multi-car discount. Isn't that good enough? I suggested he call his carrier and ask how much he would get if his collector car was totaled or stolen. He called back and said, boy, that was a scary conversation. The value of my car wasn't even close to what it's really worth. Thank you for the education, Mark. So don't just hope for a fair claim settlement. Be certain and know exactly what you'll receive with an agreed value policy. American Collectors Insurance has been protecting enthusiasts since 1976. Give them a call today for your personal agreed value quote at 866-ACI-YEAH. That's 866-224-9324. Tell them you're a friend of Mark Green's at Cars Yeah. American Collectors Insurance, classic car insurance designed by collectors for collectors, automotive enthusiasts just like you and me. They're the ones that insure my car. That's American Collectors Insurance. So, Chris, we're back. So I'm going to dive a little deeper into your career. Now, you mentioned you're definitely a car guy. You've been a car guy for a long time. Maybe you can give us a little bit of a run-up to your current position and then talk a little bit more about your roles at TechForce Foundation, ASE Education, but more importantly, Advanced Auto Parts, where we like to get parts and car care and all sorts of things. So take the wheel, my friend.
Yeah, you bet. So I like a lot of people, started my career on the front lines a little over 20 years ago as an automotive technician up in Minnesota. And that really kind of gave me my first taste, and largely because I had a car that I either needed to fix or walk. And after some time in the shop, I actually got recruited by Best Buy to be a auto tech in one of their stores, and had the opportunity to climb into a number of different roles, from training and education. This is all pretty much on the services side, or now known as Geek Squad, to marketing and outside sales and offer development. I took a stint of my career over in China, where I was the head of services over there, and then ran the automotive division for a while. At that point, went over to Bridgestone Retail Operations and spent some time leading technical operations for a great company over there. Where we had, again, training and education and support of our shops, and really just how do we support our technicians and our customers at the end of the day. And then about 2.5 to 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to come on over to Advanced Auto Parts, where I currently am leading strategic store operations. Everything from labor to operating model to all the core functions of operations, communications and governance and all that fun stuff, to opening new stores and all that good stuff. So really, if it kind of touches the store, it comes through my group, and we have a heck of a lot of fun doing it, kind of bridging the office in our stores.
Well, we're going to talk about what I always call the challenge question coming up here a little bit later in our talk, because, oh boy, retail has certainly been challenged by what's happened the last 18, 19 months with this pandemic. Oh, can't imagine the challenges you face. But let's save that pain for a little bit later and have a little bit more fun with what's going on there. First and foremost, with Advanced Auto Parts. The auto parts stores and the retail industry has taken so many huge turns and forks in the road and changes and so forth. In your mind, is what you know right now, how are consumers changing their automotive-based needs? Because in the old days, I'm an older guy, a more mature guy. I shouldn't say older. I'm a more mature man now. a lot older than you are. We go down to the auto parts store to get parts and supplies and whatever it is. And then this online thing came along, and I was involved with Advanced Auto Parts years ago, when my years at Griot's Garage of taking our brand into your guys' stores. But everything is changing now. So from your perspective, from the inside, if you're in charge of stores, how has this online thing affected you? Everything's just changing. How have you adapted to this?
Yeah. I mean, the easy answer to that, Mark, is that really at the birthplace or the inception of the automobile, that was the starting point in which our industry started to change. If you can remember way back when, owner's manual of a car used to tell you how to advance the timing or adjust your valve springs, where now you can't hardly see an engine if you pop the hood, right?
Exactly.
So automobiles are going to constantly change and do it in such a way that the service models behind them, as well as the supply chain and support systems behind those automotive changes, come along for the ride. No pun intended. As you think about what's happened in recent history over the last, call it 15 to 20 years in automotive technology, you've got things like adaptive driving systems, right? Lane keep assist and, adaptive cruise control and crash avoidance systems and, kind of the first stages of vehicle autonomy. Well, when you talk about autonomous or self-driving vehicles, a lot of people think of the Jetsons and, that's way off into the futures. But the bedrock of those systems have been around for 15 plus years with anti-lock braking systems and wheel speed sensors and, things that are very, very commonplace on, $5,000 used cars nowadays.
Yeah.
I think we're, in an industry that is certainly ripe for change, has a long and rich history of change, and something that I view as really positive, because it's those industries that don't change are typically the ones that people are doing postmortem operations on to understand what happened, right?
Oh, sure. Exactly. And for Advanced Auto Parts, when did the big transition happen to where your customers were starting to go, I don't want to have to come down to your store to pick something up. I just want to buy it online and get it delivered. I know you guys got into that. You're into that now, and you service customers that way. Has that affected you? Because if you're in charge of stores, is that part of what you're looking at, or is that a whole nother division there at Advanced Auto Parts?
Yeah, so we definitely have a very strong e-commerce team, and we work together because still, and this is true for outside of the automotive industry, still the majority of sales or purchases that are made online with a brick and mortar retailer are fulfilled through the stores. So having a multi-channel approach to retailing has really been a boon. And whether it be us or a big box home goods store or a home improvement store, you look at the statistics, and the majority, like 70-80+% of online orders get fulfilled through the store. So in the automotive parts industry, right, availability is king. And what we've done is adapt to some of our growing customer needs and uniquely develop programs to address how they want to shop with us and how they want to get their part, right? So their local store may or may not have the part that they want, but the store one town over, or the hub down the street, or the distribution center may have it. And we've launched programs like last year. We launched same-day delivery, where we leverage the gig economy. So if somebody is working on their car and they got the wheels off and they're doing a brake job and they
need a rotor or brake pads,
we'll deliver the other one to them same day so they can get back on the road. So, there's just, again, a great spirit of change as we think about addressing the customer's needs as they want them to be met, as well as leveraging some latest, greatest type technologies and really kind of economies of scope and scale that we've been benefited with in our industry.
Absolutely. What has been, in your mind, let's take COVID aside because I want to come back to that later, what's been the biggest change that you've seen in the way that your company has to work and service customers in the last, let's say, 3-4 years?
Yeah, great question. Really, as I see a lot of the adaptation that we've made, again, it's leveraging a lot of technology. So I think we service kind of two channels of customer, our professional customers that are the repair facilities and service centers that you take your car to get fixed, as well as our DIY customers who come in our front door and interact with us that way. A lot of the adaptation that we've had to make, and again, COVID aside, has been understanding changes in VIO, right? Changes in the vehicles in operation, changes in, how the customer wants to be serviced. Like I had mentioned earlier, it went from buy online, pick up in store to curbside. It went from curbside to same day delivery. It went from, our professional customers wanting to go to big training facilities and get training from CarQuest Technical Institute to doing online training and virtual seminars. So it's really a great exercise in listening and acting that we've all been through, in that, listening without action is kind of just information absorption, and it doesn't really do anybody any good. So I like to think that, especially over the last few years, we've got a pretty great track record of making those changes that our customers have asked us to in terms of how they want to be met, how they want to be served.
Adapt, Bob, weave. Yeah, it's just a constant changing force in a way that we never even believed it would happen. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your involvement with TechForce Foundation, because TechForce Foundation is a charity of choice here at Cars. Yeah, I've been supporting them for several years now. Great organization. organization. Jennifer Mayer, who introduced me to you, Chris. Jen, thank you very much again for bringing another great guest here, is the leader of that organization, but you're a big part of that as the chairman. What does TechForce mean to you, the importance of that as it relates to advanced auto parts?
Yeah, it is a charity of choice for us as well, and for many different reasons, right? Not just do we have a firm grasp and understanding that the technician shortage is a real thing, right? In a few short years, for every tech school graduate, for every one tech school graduate, there's going to be 5 jobs, right? So that means that 4 of those jobs are essentially going to get go unfilled, right? Yeah. As well as when I think about where I started in my career, as well as where a lot of people in our company started, technicians are the lifeblood of our industry, and be it a person that has developed technical skills for personal use, or they've put them together, commercially and made a career out of it. So when I think about what makes TechForce special and where we really think they have something unique is it does really 2 things. They do 2 things. One, at its core, is they're a scholarship organization, and the individuals, the aspiring technicians that are going through in pursuit of their education, there can be a lot of things that happen that take them off that course, right? Be it a life happens type event, a flat tire, unexpected bill, et cetera. And the scholarships that we offer are both, call it educational in nature, as well as stay in school and a life happens grant in nature. The other thing that TechForce does really well, and what is continuing to grow, is the attraction to the industry. And we know, again, that for every one tech school graduate, there's 5 jobs waiting for them, which means 4 of them go unfilled, right? Technicians are the lifeblood of our industry. They're one of our customers. It's where I started. And really, as I think about what TechForce does and continues to do, is it comes to the general public with an undeniable story of what America needs, related to the transportation industry, right? Their tagline is, "When technicians rock, America rolls," right?
Yeah.
So it's they've got a great mission. They've got great support, and with that, they're able to provide a large number of scholarships, as well as what they've propped up this past year with the TechForce network out there. It's really helping technicians connect with TechForce, connect with instructors, connect with each other, connect with employers, and help dramatically with diversity, right? I mean, our industry, I think, has in the technician ranks about a 3% gender diversity, where it's over 30% on the TechForce network. So there's a lot of great stuff coming out of that organization.
Well, no doubt. And it's a nice tie-in with the ASE Education Foundation, of course, ASE Automotive Service Excellence Foundation. And so your involvement there, I see why there's a relationship here, especially with your core brand, Advanced Auto Parts, with TechForce and then ASE. So talk a little bit about that and how it relates to what you're doing at Advanced Auto Parts.
Yeah, you bet. And I've had education responsibility throughout most of my career, and my dad was actually an educator, is an educator, I should say. As I look at ASE Education Foundation's mission, right, it's the accreditation and certification of instructors, their programs at the schools in which they serve, that then supports the broader ASE mission, which is technician certification and career development. When I look at what they've done from a standards and learning quality and support standpoint for schools, instructors, developing technicians, tenured technicians, it's pretty incredible. And they touch really all corners of the industry, be it your core automotive service and repair to large truck and bus, heavy duty, collision, paint, and all facets of the industry, as well as continuing to develop with later and greater technologies related to hybrid and alternative fuel and electric, right? So they've got a great mission, really supporting technicians, in career, to ensure that they've got a badge of honor, really, that shows their expertise in particular skilled areas.
And they've been around a long time, and they're an integral part of that quality service that we all want and need when we bring our vehicles in. And boy, has the automotive world changed and is changing fast as we go to the EV concept and even more. So there's a lot going on. So I'm really, really happy to hear that we both support industries like this to help things move forward, because boy, the job market is in an interesting position right now. We'll talk about that when we get to that challenge question. Before we take a break for our sponsors too here, is there a great mentor that's been in your life, someone that's been a great inspiration that's really helped you?
Mark, I'm gonna dodge this question with an answer here. Because
be creative.
I've had the opportunity to mentor a handful of people in my career, as well as be mentored. Mm-hmm. And one of the most impactful things that anybody had ever taught me is that if you rely on a single person for your development, you and they will both fail. So my mentor experience in my life is really much more of a personal board of directors. While I do have a chairman, that chairman serves a term and moves along as I try to gain experience from them, and I have different seats around the board with a diversity of skills and experiences. And really, the inspirational mentor in my life is really just ensuring that I've got a solid network of individuals that I can rely on for unique insights, and lean on them for humble advice, and tell me sometimes where I need some help that I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, great answer to that question. Your own personal board of directors. Awesome advice for all you listeners out there. Yeah. I always say, and I think it was Rohn that said this, inspirational guy, we are the culmination of the 5 people we spend most of our time with. And that's a great example of that. Put a good group around yourself, hang out with the right people, and you'll succeed. We'll take a short break, and then we're going to come back and talk about the challenges that we're faced with today. So we'll be right back. Keep your seatbelts on. Did you know that Cars Yeah is in the top 1% of all podcasts based on listenership, according to Libsyn, the premier RSS feed for podcasts in the United States? That's right. And Cars Yeah is the only 5-day-a-week automotive-focused podcast for you to get your message into the ears of thousands of listeners daily from all over the world. Plus, DuPont Registry recommended Cars Yeah is one of their top 10 car podcasts for you to enjoy. Cars Yeah has experienced tremendous growth, plus your ads are evergreen, meaning they never go away. And more listeners find Cars Yeah every day for their daily dose of automotive inspiration. Do you want to expose your brand to a highly targeted list of automotive enthusiasts in a very unique and very personal way? Well, I can help you. Contact me, Mark Green, at mark@carsyeah.com or through the website at carsyeah.com today to learn more. Linkage. It's a new quarterly publication and website that covers the automotive market, driving, restoring, collecting, and discovering your passion for motor vehicles. Linkage is about experiences, opinions, and values. Linkage is an actual informed, reasoned opinion based on first-hand experiences. A talented linkage team covers the automotive world, the people who share your passion and mine, smart, considered, rational, and experienced opinions, ones you can learn from and grow. That includes our passion that drives auctions and the collector car market. So come with me and join us on this journey. And be sure to use the code CARSYEAH when you subscribe, and they'll give you $10 off. Boom! Linkage, geared for the automotive life. Subscribe today at linkagemag.com. So I've alluded to this a couple times here. A couple big challenges that you in the retail industry have been faced with. And one of them is hiring people, finding people that can work. Oh my gosh, I've just heard story after story with guests here on the show of what a challenge this is. Have you guys dealt with the same thing? And if so, how are you modifying things so that going forward this can maybe go away? Or do you at this point not have much control over it with what's going on in society, and you add the political and the government interaction with everything? It's tough out there.
Yeah, the workforce situation is not unique to us or any one industry. I think we've all been to a gas station lately, maybe gone out to eat, shopped in a retail store, or tried to find somebody to perform services for us, house repairs or something like that. And it's been difficult on all fronts. And really, what I think is the focus in what I believe to be the right thing to focus on is just ensuring that you keep your people front of mind. And we are a people powered organization. We say, kind of pun intended, people are our best part. And it is really what we bring to life and what we try to bring to life when we think about the store support that we provide, the programs that we provide to our team members, as well as our team members are very passionate about what they do and the customers that they serve, right? So in a lot of cases, our store associates are fighting the same fight that globally is being fought for part availability and supply chain. And
yeah, that's the other side of it, isn't it? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're doing it for the customer that they serve every day, right? That they likely have a relationship with, that lives in the community in which they live in. And it does become very personal to be able to say yes and to be able to help your customers, your neighbors out in that regard. So, knowing that our organization is 110% all in on ensuring that we enable our stores in every way possible to say yes to the customer, to ensure that we've got a great employee value proposition for our team members. We, offer unique benefit programs that all can be found on the website. There's really just a focus on ensuring that we're as good as we possibly can be for our team members and for our customers.
It's incredible how much the pandemic really, what started all this, has affected so many different areas that you would not have thought of originally that it would affect. And I keep seeing it. I know you guys do because you run a huge organization. Just experienced it this weekend, eating out at dinner, being at 2 different restaurants that didn't have enough staff, and the poor folks that were there were trying their best to keep up and apologize. And, and you're like, why is this taking so long? And, the chef coming out and serving the meals because there was nobody to do it. Everybody's just trying to do the best they can in a very, very difficult time. And you feel for them. I think for a lot of us consumers, we just have to be patient and understanding and just bear with it and realize that, everyone's doing the best they can, and be kind to people, be fair to people, and help them out whenever you can. So, it's a tough time, but it'll get better. It always does. So we're looking forward to the new year being much, much more well-served, not only for supply chain, but for people and so forth. Let's talk about a special vehicle in your life, because I know you're a car guy and you've been a car guy for a long time, going way back to that. I love the story about I either fixed my car or I walked. Well, when you live in Minneapolis, you better have a car to get into, because in the winter, you don't want to walk very far. I've been there.
That's right.
It's one cold place. Is there a special vehicle in your life that stands out? And if so, what was it? And maybe share a great story about that ride.
Yeah, well, buckle up for a second, because this one's going to take a minute.
Okay, I love it.
Again, I grew up in Minnesota, and one of the best car shows in the country is put on by the Minnesota Street Rod Association. It's called Back to the 50s at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. And the car show itself attracts over 10,000, but I think in the years that I went, it was 14,000 cars that were pre-64. So as you think about that, right, that's a lot of classic cars. And that was kind of the genre of cars that I
haven't rusted away yet in that part of the world either.
They came from all over. I mean, they came from California to New York, through Canada, down to Texas.
Draws a huge audience.
Huge audience. So, growing up, going to this show, I had my favorites, right? And I had a couple of the cars and rebuilt a couple of the cars. Well, I married my high school sweetheart, and
Nice.
as we were growing a little bit more mature financially, we decided, hey, we're gonna get our first house, and we got our first house, and then I got a car that I really, really liked, and we said, well, it's time to start a family, but we can't do it in this house, so we got another house, and the buyers from my old house backed out, so I had to sell the car, and we got back on our feet, and I was really looking to build a T-bucket because I wanted a rat rod, and that was kind of the style that I really liked. But she liked a different kind of car, and the only car that both of us actually agreed on was a 1956 Ford Thunderbird.
Ooh.
And there'd be an entire street of these 55, 56, 57 Ford Thunderbirds at Back to the 50s, and that was our favorite street to walk down because that was the car that both of us liked equally. Well, as I'm looking for this Model T or Model A to turn into a rat rod, I find a Thunderbird in north central Wisconsin, original owner, and it was in my price range, which wasn't very much. So my wife and I drove out there, and sure enough, original owner. So you can imagine, this was a bit of an older gentleman. Came home from the war. Him and his wife got married, starting their life off. It kind of reminds you of the story that I just told you, right? So we're talking to him, and I ask, what. First of all, why are you selling your car? And second of all, why are you selling it for this price? Because it's worth so much more. I mean, multiples more than he had it listed.
You're a very kind buyer, or a very smart one.
So he said, well, when we bought this car, the gentleman at the dealership gave us an incredible deal on it because we could hardly afford it. And, we had already told them kind of our story. And when I asked him that question, he said, don't get me wrong, I get 5 offers a day on this car and have for months now. So the only reason why I currently own, and I'm currently doing a factory restoration on this car, is because he saw him and his wife back in 1956 in me and my wife.
Oh, what an awesome story. That's wonderful. Car people. They're great people. And for many of us, we want our vehicles to go to the next caregiver who's going to love it as much as we did or have a special affinity. And I've looked at many cars and bought cars where people said, I don't want to sell this to anybody. I want somebody who's really going to like it. I want someone who's going to flip it or do anything to it. I want it to go on the way it was. So nice story. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So I'm going to be your car psychologist here a little bit, Chris. So sit back on the couch and think about this one. If you were manifest as a vehicle, what would you be? But more importantly, why?
Well, I know you've gotten this answer before.
Okay.
But I'll give you my spin on it. I'm a pragmatist. I'm an operator. I like to find myself in the middle of things, getting dirty and, getting work done. And for that, I'm a pickup truck, right?
Okay, perfect.
I envision myself in the 4-wheel form.
Okay.
A pickup truck to me is that utility, right? It's the thing that you can drive every day. You can take on an adventure. It always gets the job done. It's reliable. And maybe doesn't have all the frills and good looks as some other vehicles.
Yeah.
But that's I think kind of endearing on who I am as an individual.
Very fair and honest answer. Yeah, I love it. That's a great answer to that question. A lot of people have gone down that path, but it's always fitting when they do, just like it is with you, Chris. How about a great book you've read? Would you share one that you think our listeners should crack open and enjoy?
Yeah, I'll give you one that I read early in my career, and I think it was right around the time that it actually came out. It's a book by the title True North, written by Bill George, who's the former CEO of Medtronics up in Minnesota, the big medical device company, and now I believe he's actually teaching at Harvard. But the book really, in its essence, and it hit me right in my right part, or in the right part of my career, it's all about be yourself. And especially as a young and growing professional, I was finding myself in so many occasions trying to emulate others, which really is kind of disingenuous, right? But I thought, man, these character traits made these individuals really successful, and I should just do that. But it wasn't natural, and it wasn't me, and honestly, it didn't get me anywhere. For sake of throwing out another parable, I realized that I just kind of needed to be myself, warts and all, and see where my career got led, and follow my passions and surround myself with people that like me for me and not who I'm trying to be, and it's served me really well. So I like that book. It's a go back. I've probably read it a couple of times now.
Great book, great recommendation, and oh so true. And if you look at the people who are, and even the people that maybe are a little bit obnoxious or kind of out there or crazy, they're just being themselves, and that's what makes them special. And there's bits and pieces of that. So that's the advice I was given when I started this crazy path of doing a podcast, which so many people went, "You're going to do what?" But the other podcasters that I talked to that would give me some time when I started that were very successful just say, don't try to be someone else. Just be you. Even if you feel like you're kind of dorky and goofy, just be you. It'll work better in the long run. So it seems to have worked really well for me, at least. Let's go on the ultimate drive here, Chris. I have a magic scepter which enables me to allow you to pick any vehicle in the world, to go anywhere in the world with anyone in the world, living or deceased. So what does the ultimate drive look like for you as we get near the new year?
Man, I hate to just rehash some old content here, Mark, but I would love, and it's probably because my Thunderbird has been off the road for longer than it's been on the road. And for anybody that knows me, there's those in my inner circle that even question if this thing actually even exists because it's been under the knife for so long. Yep. I would love to drive that T-Bird. Specifically on the road to Hana with my wife. It's a special drive. It's a romantic drive. Yep. And I think my wife putting up with everything that I do personally and professionally deserves that. But it's a gorgeous drive. It's secluded. It's lush. It's got all the curves that you could ever want. Yeah. And the destination is just as good as the journey. So that's kind of where I'd love to go one day is that. Now, don't get me wrong. I live in North Carolina. The Tail of the Dragon is not too far away from me. So I could also do that just as a warm up.
Yeah. Well, the speeds are a little different too. That road to Hana is a very slow road, but that's part of why it's so beautiful. Definitely take the top off of that T-Bird and enjoy the views. That would be stunning. I've done that in a convertible that my wife and I rented. And it's a pretty stunning ride. But I hear the Tail of the Dragon is a little bit quicker. If you dare, be careful. A lot of people made mistakes on that one, but that would be another great one too. So sounds like a wonderful trip. Nice way to answer that question. You've taken us on a fun ride today, Chris, and I want to leave this with maybe some words of wisdom, inspirational quotes, some kind of advice you might share with our listeners out there before I let you go.
Yeah, so I'll give you a couple of quotes from a couple of car guys that I know have had an impact on a lot of us, in a leadership sense as well. So Henry Ford comes to you first, and one of my favorites from him is whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Love it.
My other comes from Harvey Firestone, a good friend of Henry Ford's.
Yep.
To kind of pair with my education, teaching, training, and education background. The growth and development of people is the highest calling of leadership. And that's where I really think all of us that are in the automotive industry have an obligation to pay it forward to the next generation, to really ensure that our industry is in good shape, as well as we've paved the roads forward for them, for their opportunities to get involved, get engaged, be it pursue a technical education, or find a way, through any other avenue within the industry to seek their passion or apply different skills. As well as I do, you can be in the automotive industry as an accountant or a marketer or a technician or a salesperson or any number of different things. But it's a great industry. It's a stable industry. And And the more the merrier, especially as we look forward. Cars are always going to be here. What in terms of what drives them may change, but they're always going to drive on the roads, and they're always probably going to need to get fixed too. So.
Oh yeah. There's always something. Well, for you listeners, I'm going to put links to ASE Education Foundation, of course, TechForce Foundation. You hear me talk about them every single day here on Cars Yeah. And of course, Advanced Auto Parts, very easy to find out there, whether you're looking for parts, supplies, whatever it might be, or a future career. There's a nice place to go and think about that as well. Chris, hey, before I let you go, again, another shout out to Jennifer Mayer, who's running TechForce there, for introducing me to Chris. She's brought some great guests on board and has some more for me coming up in the new year as well. So keep listening. Chris, thanks for being so generous today with your time and expertise, and for sharing your experiences and know-how with our listeners today. Until you and I talk again, I'll see you down the road, and Happy New Year to you as well.
You as well, Mark. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. This has been fun. Here at Cars Yeah, it's all about inspiration. And our charity of choice is TechForce Foundation, where it's all about making a positive difference in young people's lives. TechForce helps young adults discover their talents and passions for all things automotive, with a mission of helping students develop a career as a professional technician. TechForce awards nearly $2 million in scholarships every year for students to pursue technical education, and they support hands-on activities, events, and mentorships across the country, working to change the outdated perceptions of these careers. Auto techs are in high demand, but the supply of qualified technicians is critically short. They need your help to fuel their mission. Learn more and join me in supporting them at techforce.org.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.